Hi guys, my name is Yogesh Sharma and today I am going to discuss that what is the stored procedure. Stored procedure, set of logical group of SQL statements which are grouped to perform a specific task. What is the mean of this? We will create a SQL statement in the SQL server. Then we call that SQL query by using some code like I am coding from the C#. But in each and every time that SQL query will be compiled then execute. It's a usual procedure. But if I know that I have completed my project and all SQL queries are completely right, or they have a right syntax, then why I am recompiling all the SQL queries? It's create a load on your database server. So we have a technique, that is the stored procedure. The benefits of stored procedure you can see here. But before go to the benefits of stored procedure, let me show you that what is the stored procedure is actually. Stored procedure are the procedure, as its name implies, that procedure will be stored in the database, and you can call that stored procedure by C# only, or any other language, whatever language you are using as your front end. You can see here we can pass a bunch of stored procedure result to the UI. Here you can see here that I'm using the LINQ. LINQ can able to get the stored procedure and or SQL queries or anything you want to implement. Stored procedure have some benefits. Now come to the benefits. In this benefits you can see here that reduces the amount of information sent to the database server. It means that you just have to call the stored procedure. It means that you have to pass the stored procedure only. You have to send the stored procedure from your C# to the SQL server, stored procedure name. And if you write like select a stick from table name, you insert into table name, then you are passing some values. These all values you have to create in your C#, then you have to pass these values to the database server. But in case of stored procedure, you have to just pass the procedure name and their parameters. That's it. Compilation step is required only once when the stored procedure is created. As I told you that when you create the stored procedure, then the compilation will be done, and the compilation will not be done again. Okay, so it will prevent the resources of SQL server. So the SQL performance definitely it will be more, because the compilation processes break down. It helps in reusability of the SQL code. You can call the procedure at any time in any SQL code. You can call the procedure, so it helps into reusability. Okay, stored procedure in help enhancing the security, since we can grant permission to the user for executing the stored procedure. I will discuss that what is the SQL injection. In SQL injection we can pass the some kind of string that can manipulate the SQL query, but in case of stored procedure you have to pass the just parameters value, so it prevent from the SQL injection. I will take it later. Okay, so another benefit is it is useful to use the database to storing the business logic in the form of stored procedure, since it makes it secure, and if any changes is needed in the business logic, then we may only need to make changes in the stored procedure and not in the files contained on the web server. We know that whenever you created the project, when you completed your project, then you have to deploy it on your server, web server. But if you done all the code in the C# only, then you have to make some changes in the C# file, then re-upload or recompile that C# file and upload onto the production server. But in case of stored procedure, if you have completed all the work in your stored procedure, it means that let me take an simple example, like you have a inventory management system, and you have done almost work in SQL server only in the stored procedure. Okay, so it's a it will take very few minutes to update the stored procedure, and you will get the result whatever you want. Okay, so that's help to to reduce the work on the web server. Now what is the difference between stored procedure and function? Many people are they are confused that what is the benefit of stored procedure and what is the function. A very simple differences are here. Like first difference is a stored procedure may or may not return a value, but a function always return a value. we know that function can return the scalar value as the table value, anything, but function is must return some value. But in case of stored procedure, it is not it's not necessary that stored procedure always return the value. It may be possible that it can insert some data, update some data, or it can select the data. You can pass any kind of query like select query, then the stored procedure will return the value. If you are firing the insert query, then the is insert data into the database table. We can use function in a stored procedure, but we can't use a stored procedure in a function. That is the biggest difference. Okay, so how many types of stored procedure we have? We have two types of stored procedure. First one is the system stored procedure. Let me brief it. If you go with the system databases, you can see here we have a database, that is a master database, and in master database we have some procedures in programmability option. You can go and you can see here. Okay, what is the use of these system stored procedure? Actually, whatever you execute in the SQL and result will come in this window. Let me take an example over there. Like I want to insert some data in my employee table. I have employee table which have 4 fields. Okay, like name, ID is a auto increment field, F name is not F name, it's a father name, and salary. I want to give some input into this table, so name will be come into single quotes, father name will come into single quotes, and salary will come in without single quotes because it is a integer value. Now execute it. Then you can see here this result is coming out. Who is sending this result? That one row affected, data is inserted, anything. It is inserted by the master database procedures. These are the system procedure. Due to these stored procedure, you will get the output in the output window. That is the use of stored procedure. These are the system defined, and system or your predefined databases have these procedures, system stored procedure. Second kind of stored procedure, that is the user defined stored procedure. User defined stored procedure are created by the developers, okay, who are using the SQL server. I will discuss and I will give an example that how we can create a user defined stored procedure. Types of user stored procedure, we have two types of stored procedure. Like first one is a non-parameterized stored procedure. In such kind of procedure where you want to fetch some table data and you are like creating coding like this, like select a stick from table name, that's it. It means that you are not passing any kind of input type variable. That's why we call them non-parameterized stored procedure. Second type of procedure, that is the parameterized stored procedure. In this kind of procedure you can pass some input type variable. Okay, so let me brief that what is the syntax for the stored procedure. You can see here it's a very simple syntax. You want to create the procedure, you have to take keyword create proc or create procedure, both are same. It's a shortcut to write the proc only. Okay, then procedure name whatever you want, it's a user defined procedure. Okay, then you can pass input parameters, you can pass output parameters. I will discuss it later what is the input and output parameters. And if required, output parameter is not necessary, but in parameters constructor you have to pass the input parameter. Okay, then write the SQL statement by after taking these keywords as begin and end. Begin and end works like a curly braces in your programming, like there's opening curly braces and end is the closing curly braces. Okay, so let me create some procedure. Before starting the procedure, let me show the structure of my table, employee table. Okay, this is my table. In this table you can see here ID, name, father name and salary. There are 4 fields in this table. In this table the ID field is the auto incremented field. It means that user will not insert data into ID. It is auto incremented. Name is a varchar data type value field. Father name is a varchar data type field. Salary is a integer data type field. Okay, so let me create some procedure. create proc. I'm just using non-parameterized procedure. Okay, sp fetch employee as begin and end. Okay, begin and end in a single line statement is not necessary. Writing a SQL query, select asterisk from employee, it's my table. This is my SQL command. This command will be compiled only once when I will create the procedure. Execute, then you can see the result that command completed successfully. It means that your procedure has been created successfully. Now how I can check that procedure is working or not? You have to use the exec fetch employee. It's my procedure name. Select execute. Something is going wrong. Some employee. Okay, the procedure was wrong. I have to alter this procedure because I have write a wrong table name. Just alter is to make some changes in your predefined procedure. Now execute it again, then you will get the result. Okay, it's a very simple procedure where I didn't pass any input type variable, but in my next procedure I'm going to insert some data into the employee table. Here I'm taking insert proc. This is my procedure name. Okay, I'm taking two variables, name, varchar. Remember, your input type data type should match with your table data type. Okay, here I'm using the name varchar 50. I should use @name, it's my input type variable name, with varchar data type. It's not necessary that the table field name and the input type variable name should be same. I can use here names, but for the easiness I'm just taking @name. Second parameter is the f name, that should be matched with the 50. Here I'm not using the father name to define the difference between the input variable and the table field. I want that father name is not necessary, so I can pass the null value over there like this. It means that if I don't pass the @fname variable value, then it will take the null value. It's not necessary, but in case I'm passing the fname value, then it will take the sending value. Okay, fname is fine. Now come to the another field, that is the salary integer. Okay, as I'm just writing insert query, insert into employee, I want to insert in these fields name, father name and salary. Okay, and values you have to pass the input variables over there, name, @fname and @salary. Okay, fine. After creating this procedure, you have to execute it, then you can see that your procedure is inserted successfully. Now how I can execute this procedure? exec sp insert proc, this is my procedure name, and I have to pass the input type variables. Here remember the sequence of input type variable. Here I am using the name, I am writing the name Ramesh, and fname I am writing the name Suresh. Both are character type, that's why I have to use single quotes in the value. Okay, third parameter is the salary. I am writing here 10,000. Fine. If I execute this procedure, you get the result 1 row affected. It means that your record has been inserted successfully. To check that data is inserted or not, let me execute the exec sp fetch employee. It's my last created procedure, and execute. Then you can see here the output. ID is auto increment, that's why it inserted 6 default 6 value, and Ramesh, Suresh and 10,000 is the value has been inserted successfully. In the same way you can do the update, you can do the delete. Let me take a delete procedure, sp create proc sp delete proc, and I am writing a integer variable only as begin and end. Delete from employee where id equal to @id. Very simple. Execute. Something is going wrong. id delete from table name where id is right, no problem. Why it's showing some message over there? Create proc sp delete proc. It may be possible that this procedure is already created. id integer, nothing is okay. It may be possible I didn't select complete procedure. Okay, exec. Now I want to execute sp delete proc. This is my procedure name, proc1, and writing 3. Execute 1 row factor. It means that your record which have id 3 has been deleted now. You can check it by yourself by calling the fetch employee procedure. You can see that third is missing. Okay, third id is missing. Fine. This is a procedure to how we can delete the procedure. Now come to the another kind of procedure which have the output parameter. Output keyword is to the parameters in the stored procedure can return the value of the parameter to the calling program. Very simple. Let me copy and paste this procedure. This one is my procedure, and something is missing. I didn't copy it. Complete procedure. Output parameter works like a input parameter and the output parameter both. If you know about the Oracle, we have 3 kinds of input parameter in stored procedure. First one is the in, that is used to input parameter. Out, this is used to for output parameter, and in out, this is used for the in and out. In SQL Server, out works like a output works like a in and out both. Okay, you can see here the procedure: alter proc sp outx id integer name varchar output. Okay, as select name equal to, it means that I have taken a output parameter that will be returned when you will call the procedure. Okay, select name. I am passing some value in this output parameter name plus equal to, I concatenate 2 field value name, and I want to put comma between them, and father name from employee where id is equal to @id. Let me execute it. Execute. Created successfully or not? Something is going wrong. Why it's happened again and again? Maybe possible I didn't. Okay, I am writing the alter command, but here I have to take create. I have to make changes in this file also. Create. Fine. After creating, you can alter the procedure, but before creating you can't alter the procedure. You can see the output. Now execute it again. What is the mean of this? I am just writing a output parameter fetch result. Whatever name you want you can put here. You are calling the procedure sp outx 3. 3 is the first parameter, that is the id, you can see here, and second parameter is the fetch result which you have declared here. Now I want to get the value of fetch result. The fetch result value would go to the name @name, and the name value will be set by name and father name. Then you can see the result. 3 I already deleted. No, now I have to take 4. Get the result. Select these 3 lines. Execute. Null. It means that 4 id is not available over there. Let me take 5. Execute. Or 6. You just inserted this record. Execute. Fine, you have Ramesh and Suresh. Okay, so in this way you can use the output parameter in stored procedure. So for more videos please subscribe my channel, and I will upload more videos based on MVC and SQL Server and ASP.NET Web Form. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.